Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand Arena. We're christening it today. We're going to be doing Manchester United's team of the season so far / team when it comes back from what's going on worldwide. But we're doing it from new surroundings and it feels good, lads, doesn't it?
Look at this. Who would have thought, eh? What are you going to do with that green screen? I've seen that there's reserve bids on eBay, offers going up.
Still going to be there, the green screen. It's not the end of the green screen.
Or maybe this is a big green screen. Maybe this isn't really a studio.
Well, I've got my favourite player behind me. You've got yours.
Yeah. Rashford is my favourite player. I think Masaka's my favourite player now. You should have Bruno there anyway. Get Keane off there. Hey, Bruno, you
ain't doing Bruno yet. Anyway, right, we're going to look, smash a like on the video. Fantastic setup, and it's only because of you lot that we've been able to do this over the last few years. So big things for it, lots of things planned. But the first show we're going to do is going to be United team of the season so far, which really should be the United team that goes forward. So Rants, goalkeeper. You're going to start off with Tony Grant.
You know what?
Tony Grant.
I think Dave has to get it in it.
Would you put if Henderson was about? Where do you sit on that, Henderson or De Gea?
Henderson. I always said when we were talking about giving De Gea the new deal, I said don't give it to him. I said I don't think he's worth 300 grand a week. His performances have shown that he's not warranted as 300 grand. I think if he's in the top 10 goalkeepers in the world, he's just in there in current form. And the stats don't lie. Over the last 2 seasons, there's been a very clear decline in David De Gea's shot stopping percentage. So for me, I don't think he's worth the 300 grand. If it was a choice between selling Henderson now or selling De Gea now and bringing Henderson in, I'd sell De Gea.
Anyone? I mean, I totally disagree, but you're not the only one to say that, so it's interesting.
I still think De Gea's...
He's only 29.
Yeah, for goalkeeping terms, De Gea's not finished. He's not done, but because his standards have been so high, he has dropped off. He's dropped off the last 2 years
because he was
very high. He's still better than most keepers. He's still up there, is what I'm saying. I mean, Dean Henderson is looking fantastic, looking really good. It's different doing it at Sheffield United. You could argue that they play better football and all this stuff like that, but I'm talking about coming to Manchester United, game in, game out, big pressure. I'm not saying you can't handle it. I'm just saying it might still be a little bit early, but at least we're well stocked in that department. It's a good situation to have.
Interesting what happens next season.
Yeah.
Right back. We don't need to talk about Ashley Young or Delay. It's Wan-Bissaka, and we are going to talk about our player of the year so far as well towards the end. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka will be in that conversation, and definitely best right back. Best right back for me in Europe.
Yeah.
In relation to what his job is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you get Jamie Carragher coming out, look at his Liverpool allegiance. He doesn't have to do. I know he's usually quite unbiased, quite a good pundit, but for him to just make that comparison, say, listen, I tell you what now, he's basically saying Pep needs to watch this because there's no point playing against Man United and putting Sterling on the left. There's just no point. He needs to think something different. And just even away from Sterling, every game since the first game of the season against Chelsea, he has been spot on. Had the odd little injury here or there, little hip problem, back problem, but he's solid, he's fit, he's never really getting any big injuries. And he's just gone from strength to strength. He's been brilliant.
Look, I like Trent Alexander-Arnold, but the reality is Morata's eating him on post until this band's done, isn't he? And I think with Trent Alexander-Arnold, don't know why I'm talking about him. We're not a Liverpool channel, but he could be a Bale. I think he's attacking wise, defensively as well.
Could even play
centre backs, Rants. What you do them as a pair? Because I presume Harry Maguire.
Yeah, Maguire and Bailly for me. I think a fit Eric Bailly is our best centre half for me. He's my favourite. He does have you on the edge of your seat sometimes.
He's so erratic.
He's erratic. You don't know, literally, you don't know what you're going to get from him. The only thing that he guarantees is entertainment. Eric Bailly, I'm telling you, the guy is mental. But actually, he's got great feet, good athlete. He attacks the ball. His recovery pace is very good. And he's fearless. He does the dirty stuff. And I just think him and Maguire, they complement each other perfectly. I think Maguire and Lindelof are too similar. I think they're too similar in the fact that they both want to be on the ball. They want to do the nice things. They want to pass and stuff. Harry Maguire would rather intercept a ball rather than go through the back of someone, whereas Bailly will just go through the back of someone. Do you know
I mean, to be fair to Lindelof though, I think it's easy as fans when you've got other kind of centre backs there. We've got Tuanzebe. He's one of ours. He's young. He's coming through. He's come back from Villa. We want that romance story, but it's easy for us to kind of just go. It should be Tuanzebe. It should be, but Lindelof, I don't think he's been horrendous.
I think before Christmas, I actually said Lindelof's better than Maguire.
Yeah.
Maguire's become good in January with the captaincy, and he is very good at the moment.
He is.
Before Christmas, I thought Lindelof was more consistent than
and him and Lindelof, especially like I said, since January, where the whole team seems to be doing better because of Bruno and other things. But he and
they will get done by pace though. They're going
to get that, which is why if you're going to ask me to choose a pairing, I agree with. I probably would slightly shade with the more combative, physical element that Eric Bailly would give you as opposed to. But the problem is this
about fitness.
Exactly. At least Lindelof, he's solid in terms of fitness. He doesn't get big injuries. He's always there.
It's also the recovery though, because Calvert-Lewin, that straight ball Everton were playing were just doing Maguire and Lindelof a straight ball, And
pace can get out of the two centre
all the time.
But usually, if you play without pace, John Terry did it his whole career. If you're good enough,
John Terry had a William Gallas recovery place next to him when he needed it, or something like that.
You need them to complement each other.
Look at that goal at I can't remember who the centre backs were. I think it was. I think we played 3 centre backs. I think it was Lindelof, Maguire, and I can't remember who else. Europa at Carabao Cup. That's why he controls his own flick on and still scores against them. Definitely Maguire and Lindelof.
Yeah, it was Maguire made a mistake for that.
So we got. I'm not going to argue.
I can't even get the Remember Crystal Palace? I can't get that out of my head. Lindelof just got done in the air. And so many times.
Ayew jumped on.
So many times Lindelof gets done in the air physically as well, and I just think that they don't complement each other. It's not the fact that he's not a good footballer. I just think that a centre back partnership, they both need to they need to make up for the deficiencies of the other player. And I just think that they're too similar in terms of characteristics. Harry Maguire is just physically a more imposing version of what Lindelof is for me.
I've got no disagreement with that. So we've got Bailly and Maguire. I'm looking forward to this one because I think the left back option is obvious. We've lost the screen.
We'll carry on.
Yeah, we lost the screen. It'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
It's not programmed, as we can say. So let's talk about the left back. It's got to be Luke Shaw, Rants.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be.
Wow, that was easy. Who says he's got an agenda against Luke Shaw? That's gone, mate.
No, but you know what it is,
Get on a bus.
Havriana flip-flops are out, mate. He's down to Banana Beach, mate.
You know what it is? Defensively, I don't trust Brandon Williams. I've always said it. Like, as a wing back,
Mahrez really.
I prefer.
That was the game for me. That was the game where I think the Luke Shaw doubters had to get in line because Mahrez had Williams on toast, and I like Williams.
He only did a couple of times though. Look at the other games he's played in.
Yeah, but
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not even thinking about that.
Traore did it to him as well.
He did it for a bit. It's not like 90 minutes on toast.
Everyone with Williams wants to go, because he's a young player. He's brilliant. What I've said about Williams is he is good, but he's young. He's going to be inconsistent, and everyone's like, bin Shaw.
No,
Williams.
he shouldn't have been.
And when Luke Shaw went against Mahrez, it was like you can get in that pocket as well. And that was the thing.
But this is my argument with the Henderson thing. Loads of people are saying, maybe Henderson's young and that. Bro, like, you don't have the same energy for Williams. People are saying Williams is ready now because he's had a good few games. But for me, Henderson showed me more consistently that he's ready, innit? Williams, for me, he's not ready to start for Manchester United.
Talking Dean Henderson, not Jordan.
Yeah. No, that's horrendous. We don't talk about that guy. But for me, defensively, he needs Luke Shaw at left centre back. So I trust him there. Do you know what I mean? I prefer Luke Shaw as a left back. I prefer Brandon as the wing back. But either of them, if I had to choose between buying a new left back to play left back, I'd get a new one because I think attacking wise, Luke Shaw don't give us enough as a left back. But defensively, I ain't got an issue.
I think with Williams, he's definitely not. I think he's been used in the right way. I think there was a period where, to be fair to him, he earned it. He was getting asked, and I'm not going to take away. He was getting asked to play in tough games. I remember Alkmaar away. He was playing at the Bridge away. I know it might sound like Alkmaar crap, but
when you say
no. But what I'm saying is, it's like away from home, European.
He has played Man City.
Do you know what I mean? But he's played Man City. He's played Chelsea. Did he play against Liverpool at home?
Might have done because left centre back.
Luke Shaw played well at left centre back.
Maybe Anfield.
I can't remember all the
teams.
teams.
Anfield because Luke Shaw played left centre.
Yeah, he did. He did play in that game. So he's been asked to play in difficult ties, and every time he's come through with his head held high. He's a young player. He's going to have a dip in form. I think, to be honest, the last couple of months, he actually just looked tired.
Exactly.
He was just worn out, and Luke Shaw's a way more experienced player.
I think a young player, you're going to have a buzz, 100%. And then you're going to drop.
But I think with respect to Brandon, though, a lot of them games he was playing is because Luke Shaw wasn't playing well.
It was an easy decision for him to make.
Luke Shaw was
and it's also given Luke Shaw to kick up the arse.
Yeah. And Mahrez.
I think
Mahrez is probably one of the in-form players.
Of course.
In the
and so is
Traore.
So the fact that he got done a couple of times, because even before that, like he started that game against City well, because where I sit in the first half, he's right in front of me every game, so I can always judge his game well. And yeah, he had a tough time. He had a tough time.
He's got
He's
everything.
tired,
He's got everything it takes to be a player.
100%. The future's bright.
Yeah, absolutely.
The future's bright.
So wow, I suppose it's let's say Ollie's going to play 4-2-3-1 because we can talk about formations. Who do you have? I presume we're all having Bruno in the head of the three. Yeah. Considering Pogba's back now, Fred's been brilliant, Matic has been good, McTominay's back. I'll go you Flex first. Who are you having as your midfield 2 behind Bruno? You're having Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's definitely number 10. There's no point talking about that. The thing is Pogba going to stay? That's for me. Are we doing it as?
Yeah, it's when we come back. Yeah, then what's United's best 11 if we get this
Pogba,
season?
Pogba's got to be in it. He's got to be in it.
I disagree. I mean, I'm a big fan of Pogba, but I just think this is an opportunity to. I think Pogba's going to stay, by the way.
Yeah.
I think this is an opportunity to give Pogba a short-term kick up the arse and say, Fred and Matic don't deserve to get drops.
No,
I like McTominay, but Fred and Matic don't deserve to get dropped. So Pogba could be in a game or two, but wait for a bad game. Wait for a bad game and then go, that's your chance.
Well, that's what I mean. On
and
ability,
the worst thing you can do is just go, get out Fred or get out Matic.
Yeah.
And put Pogba
It'll mess up the morale. That's
why,
so that's why I'm like, well, at the end of the day, if he's staying, we need to come up with something that's going to fit him into the team. Yeah. He's going to be our best player along with Bruno.
This formation for me doesn't do it.
Exactly. So we need to look at that anyway. But if you're saying on ability, you have to try and get your best players in. Like, we're Man United and we've got two of the best attacking midfielders.
You go Pogba, Fred, Bruno?
I would go Pogba, Fred, Bruno. But right now I agree with that. In terms of upsetting the apple cart and the balance of it, it's weird now because we've got a long break, so it kind of makes Ollie be able to maybe put Pogba back in because there's such a long gap. If we were playing, say, Tottenham the next game like we were supposed to, etc., absolutely, I think it should be Matic and Fred. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in the longevity, in terms of the long layoff we're going to have, and how Solskjaer can rethink things, get players back from training, we come back a different side. Rashford might be back by then. You don't know where this is going to go to. I think then you've got to find a place.
Or you can, and Fred. I don't know what you think, man. I don't know what you're going to say, but the thing about Pogba and Fred is if the whole point of a 4-2-3-1 is that you have a defensive shield of your back four. I don't like it. Van Gaal did it and it was boring, but Ollie does it.
Or you change it, or you have one holding and have two ahead.
Pogba and Fred, neither are.
But this
so
is
have
why
one holding. Put Fred there and have Bruno Fred.
Bruv, but this
or just play a flat three.
But this is why when everyone's going, like this Bruno thing was an amazing signing and it's some masterstroke and that, bro. Buying Bruno completely unbalances our midfield if you're honest, innit? Because the role that Bruno's doing now, Pogba was doing that and Pogba's numbers were even better. Do you know what I mean? The facts are, when we had everyone fit, Ollie wasn't playing Pogba there. He was playing him in the pivot. So actually, Ollie could have played Pogba there. Pogba would probably be our top scorer and assister now if he was playing in that position.
Well, statistically, I think Pogba gets 3 or 4 key passes per game, which is
from
better
deep.
than most people.
From deep.
So if you're going to play him in a 4-2-3-1, ideally you want one.
Pogba can do either.
You want an Ndidi, a Bruno, and a Pogba.
Pogba can do all.
But this is it. So technically, when you look at our team on paper, if you want to play Pogba and Bruno, you have to play Matic.
Someone to hold.
You have to play Matic. Really, out of all of them, he's the best suited to do that role, innit? Fred can do that role, but Fred is a box to box. Pogba's a box to box. So it unbalances us bringing in Bruno, really, innit? So when everyone was like, I only think that Bruno thing was a panic buy because Pogba got injured. I don't think we're buying.
Because got injured.
Yeah.
McTominay
as well.
Because we were stretching midfield, we had to
honestly
get him.
don't.
Otherwise, we would have got him in summer if we wanted him.
Yeah.
If we would have knew, if the club would have known or backed the impact he would have had and given us the quality he would have had, if they would have backed that, they would have just got it done in the summer.
Bruno, they're all tweeting out, look at this, Man United, Bruno. There's another word beginning with B and it ends in X, and they panic buyed Bruno. They did, and I'm so glad they did. But they did. Everyone was screaming out, buy him in the summer. No, he takes too many risks. We're not looking at him. We're looking at Longstaff. Pogba and McTominay get injured. We need someone. Let's go and get him. It works out. We always knew what
he would never have come.
And also, you got to remember, protests were being planned that just didn't happen because Bruno came in. You know what I mean? I don't think that was a coincidence either. So
midfield 3. Yeah,
I think go. No. If I was manager right now and we had a game, this, that, and the other, I wouldn't start Pogba only because I feel like, you know what, we're on a decent run. If it's not broke, don't fix it yet. But as soon as it even looked like it was going the wrong way,
as soon as there's 10 minutes, it looks like we're not creating.
Pogba's coming in, mate, because Pogba is the best player in that team.
I would do that, and Rance is obviously a big fan of Pogba.
Yeah.
I like Pogba, but I would do that for the same reason. I think if you're running a team, don't just drop a player
100%.
back in.
Like I said, if we play Tottenham literally the next game, he doesn't get back in, and the next game after that.
Fred and Bruno.
Yeah.
So that leaves us the front three. Look, I think with Rashford and Martial fit, for me, Rashford's on the left, Martial's up front. Some people might say Garlo, but I just think Garlo's been great.
Not yet.
Have you not been looking at what Martial's done this season?
Yeah, not yet. I think that's really naive to just to jump on. Kind of like the Brandon Williams thing where we're saying, well, hold on a minute, I know they're different ages and stuff, but in terms of just coming in, Garlo's done brilliantly well for the games he's been asked to play. You can't argue with that. But Tony's been doing it for a lot longer.
He's had a very good season.
You know what it is, yeah? Like, Tony's had a great season, but the funny thing is, because people put so much rubbish on his name at one point, it's like the smoke's there, people can't see through it. He's got more goals from open play than Rashford in less time, less minutes played.
And the conversion rate's crazy.
The conversion rate's way higher than Marcus's.
If
you take away Marcus's pens and his free kicks, the dead balls, Tony's clear of him. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, people are saying this is Rashford's best ever season, and people are like, yeah, well, Tony hasn't. We're not really sure about it.
And he's there with the same numbers.
So, and his numbers are better.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, it's like
with his back to goal.
With his back to goal, playing a different system.
Yeah.
In a team with half of it before Bruno comes, didn't even create anything.
Yeah, it was creating
so you do have to look at it in the context. What Martial? I think it's very easy to look at Martial because of his mannerisms and just say he doesn't care.
His work rate's been immense.
It's really easy to do that. When really, I've played up front. There is no. If you're a smart striker, you don't run for the sake of running. That whole thing of closing people down. If you don't have this is the key thing. If you're pressing in singles, it doesn't work. If Martial just wants to run around like a blue-ass fly just to get to that centre back, and then they pass it back to the other centre back, and then they get to the full back, and then they're out, it means nothing. Then he's knackered when the ball does arrive at his feet. Part of playing up front, especially on your own as a single striker, I can tell you. You've got to run intelligently. Shut off angles. You just turn by a certain amount of degrees to make him not be able to go back that way. Fine. But you don't sprint to that person, sprint, unless you've got midfielders behind you going in waves.
They tell you to split the centre backs. You either split the centre backs, so you give them an option. You say, you know what, you have to go this way. Or what they teach you to do is they just teach you to drop off, come into the midfield and make it so they can have the ball, but they have to go over you.
Or if they pass it one side, you kind of follow that pass and block off the passing lane so it doesn't come back to that centre half. So you're almost saying to that team, all right, you've gone that way, but you're not coming back. You're now pigeonholing you into playing into this, which comes from tactics and formations, which is a different conversation.
And I think for Martial, anyone who says he's lazy, the big thing for me is I remember against Man City, a cross came in. I think it was given as offside anyway, and there was some brilliant defensive header because Otamendi was going to get it, and I was like, "Who's that?" And it was Martial, and I was like, "Yeah, that's it down." So
and also his goal that he scored in Europe when he got into the end of the stage.
We're not scoring.
We weren't scoring that. We'd have lost that.
Against Bruges.
We'd have lost that. Do you know what I mean? So the laziness thing, that's a myth, innit? So. I think Martial has had a great season, a very understated season.
Who are we putting on the right then?
Do you know what I mean? I'm putting Mason there, mate. You know what I mean? It's not even, everyone knows where I sit with this one.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Look, I agree that Dan James' end product hasn't been good enough. He'd say that himself. And I think a lot of that is down to the demand that's been put on him in terms of lack of options in that area. To blame with Dan James. Solskjaer, if you could, how Jesse's not been playing too well. Solskjaer's recognised it at a point. Same with Pereira. They've not been making matchday squads. They've not been coming off the bench. He's actively trying to change that. I think because James is coming from the Championship, he didn't cost that much money. I think Solskjaer kind of thought, I can just keep, and he's quick. I can just keep playing him. I don't think anyone's going to get in his back. But really, it started to have the adverse effect even on Daniel James. So I don't blame him for that. He's a player who needs to develop. Now the problem that's been is that he does look a bit one-dimensional. If there isn't grass to run into and you're getting him running at a fullback, there doesn't seem to be much to his game at this point. But the good thing is that he gets into good positions. So the argument is that, well, actually, if we can work on that composure, if we can work on finishing, if we can work on choice of pass, his pace and his runs are always going to get him into positions. And as we improve as a team and get better players, like the likes of Bruno or the likes of Freddie, we're going to pass forward quickly. Someone like Daniel James will be utilised. Now, I think with Daniel James, there's certain games, and I keep saying the City game, which me and you were kind of debating about. I'm saying, in that City game, you can say his final ball was crap and give him a 5 out of 10 and all this stuff. If he's not playing against City in that game, who in our team stretches them in that game.
See, we had this conversation.
By the way we're playing now, I know
And
we
the thing
shouldn't be
is,
playing like that, but the way the fact
again,
that we are,
I don't
he
agree
stretches
because
them.
when you look at McTominay's goal, Agallo was stretching them, but he stretches them in a different way. He stretches them by actually occupying defenders and actually pinning them, which is something that we didn't
100%.
have. There's different ways to actually occupy defences and actually scare teams. Do you know what I mean? Not the hoofed ball into the channel. That's so predictable. And yeah, cool. There's pace is something that you can't legislate for with players. But I feel like with someone like Daniel James, the only way he improves is with good coaching. Having good players around him doesn't improve him as a footballer, because you saw Bruno was getting frustrated with him many times, and the thing is, players will just stop passing to him. That's all.
But him getting into those good positions, if he makes the two key decisions, and all we're talking about is a cutback, it's not rocket science. It's not like, oh, you don't even know where to run. He's getting into the position. So if he cuts that,
stop making them runs when they don't think they're going to get the ball.
But what I'm saying is, if he did cut that back to Bruno and Bruno scores, well then all of a sudden Daniel James has played a 9.
Yeah. It's football
So
intelligence.
that's what I mean. It's football intelligence. So I'm arguing that
I think next season for Dan James
is huge.
Because if he doesn't show
be
that
worked
football
on.
Intelligence, he's not
Exactly.
It has to be coached
so
into him, though.
really, to answer your question of who goes on the right, it's
Makes
kind
you
of
I'm going Greenwood.
it's kind of a toss up between which game it is, but I'll say Greenwood on the basis that whenever Greenwood's come in there, he's looked so clinical, so sharp, and it's very easy on the eye in terms of what he wants to do, shift. That ball is going towards goal.
And I think that job that Dan James did against Man City, you can do that from the bench for the last half an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I think Greenwood.
This is exactly what I'm saying. He's as an impact player.
Yeah.
I'd be judging him completely differently.
Yeah.
I'm judging him as someone that starts way more games than he should.
And that's down to the manager.
You know what I mean? And that's down to the manager. That's by no means his fault.
So we've got De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Maguire, Luke Shaw, Matic, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. Pogba work your way back into the team. So that's our 11. I don't know what you think about that.
McTominay as well. Do people think McTominay should get in instead of Matic? Matic signed a new deal now. Do you know what I mean? He signed it. They've obviously triggered the extension. I'll tweet that today. That's a fair play to him. Yeah, as fans, we're very quick when people aren't playing well.
I don't mind the 1 year. I don't want 5.
Yeah, that's fine. Exactly, that's fine. Trigger the extension. Have him about the place. His experience. And when things aren't going too well, we've seen we can rely on Matic.
We'll just put him in the team.
I hold my hands up. Like by January, but when it was getting to November, December times, we were all like, Scott's been playing brilliant. There's no way Matic gets back into this team. He's 30, 31. He's going to want to move on.
Yeah.
And then Scott gets injured and it's like, oh, now we've got to bring Matic in. And he's gone, hold on a minute.
No, but you know
I've
what
been
it
about
is?
the block. And he's played well.
The difference is with Matic though. Matic was playing in a box-to-box midfield role and he was stinking the place out, mate, because Fred hadn't found his feet yet.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Fred does the mobility thing, Matic just puts the fighters out. That's what Matic is good at. When Matic tries to dribble and carry the ball forward, that's when he fries my head. Like, just pass it off. Simple balls.
And he's been doing that really well.
He puts the fires out very well, but then he wants to drop the shoulder, turn, and then dribble.
No, but you know what? You say that sometimes.
Don't do that.
I see him. You know that left foot thing he does there? He does get it. He looks like he's going to pass, and he kind of turns in and travels a bit. He can travel with it a little bit, but it's that final. It's that
then
final.
Just get
Fred's mobility and
yeah. Just stay in your lane, man. That's it. 100%, mate.
He is.
Stay in your lane. But he's very calm and influence.
Yeah. So that's our team. Very, very quickly then. Player of the year could be player of the season if we don't get back. But player of the season, it's Wan-Bissaka for me. Very quickly because I can't think of a game that he's done badly. He's been so consistent, and I think he's one of those players who probably doesn't get the limelight. And he does deserve it. He's not put a foot wrong. So for me, it would be Wan-Bissaka. Although I do agree that Fred.
I think we just take him for granted because he's that good. That's the burden of being that.
Remember
good.
how many player ratings we've done? You've gone. It was a 7 for Bissaka by his standards. It's not great, but that's how good he is.
Yeah, but for everyone else, it's different. It's the same with Pogba. I don't judge him the same. Like, do you know what I mean? If I give Pogba a 6, that just means that it's like, he didn't do anything that amazed me that day. Do you know what I mean? If I give Pogba an 8, like it's a 10 for everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what it is with Wan-Bissaka. If he gets a 7, his 7 is like an 8.5 for everyone else. Like a bad game for him is if. Well, no one gets past him anyway.
Well, it's happening with Bruno now.
Yeah.
In the last couple of games of Bruno, I'm giving him a 7, but it's because the standard of Bruno is so high.
Like,
if that was Lingard, it'd be a 10. You know?
Like exactly. a bad game for Wan-Bissaka is he lets someone get a crossing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's the level that he plays at. So in terms of consistency from start to finish of the season, I think he has to be the best player. But for me, once Fred hit the ground, he just hasn't put him below a 7 at all either. But I just think that Wan-Bissaka's done it for a bit longer.
Yeah, I agree. I think even Rashford, if he'd have carried on and maybe not got injured and carried on in that form.
But even he started the season bad.
Start of the season,
he was
true.
Poor.
And then that patch he had, even from that patch, even if he did it right to the end, he could have been in there. But like you said, man, Fred, when he hit the ground running, was so integral. And it was almost a bit more refreshing with Fred because he's had so much doubters and had such a difficult time. All of last season, it was like, check his passport, might not be Brazilian, we don't know. And his name's Fred. Like, what's going on? Let's get Leicester. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't add up. It did not make sense. Now, it's like 50 million pounds a snip, almost. So, big up to Fred, but I think Wan-Bissaka, he's just unbelievable defensively. To the point where when you're there in the stadium, you're just watching someone going at him.
You're not worried.
You're just chilled. You're just like, I've got no problem whatsoever. And Jamie Carragher summed it up perfectly with the clips that he did in terms of most fullbacks, if you're playing against a Sterling or a Mahrez or players that can skin you or a Traore or whatever, you're going tight. You're going, don't give him space to turn, get running at me. The way he defends is like, he'll be from here to maybe over there, that door, and just be like, come.
You'll invite it
because
because he genuinely
and even when they've got a little turn of pace and you think, I've beaten him, the recovery is madness. So he's been putting in solid performances, player of the season.
Yeah, he invites it.
Whether it finishes today and the season got voided, he'll win it. And there's no doubt in my mind that the next 8 games or 9 games, whatever there is, if the season re-continues, he'll keep putting in their mates.
And that's what Ashley Cole used to do, and that's why Ronaldo hated playing against
100%.
him. Because he doesn't mind you running at him because he's as quick as you. Do you know what I mean? And wingers hate that, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, wingers like when you dive in because then you make a decision for them and they can just go the other way. But when you stand up and say, come on then, like, ideally they just want to pass it inside. You know what I mean? So, like, Wan-Bissaka is an absolute nightmare.
Also, I'd say respect on McTominay's name though this year. I think he's been really good.
I just think he had a bit of form.
I think he's been good. Man.
He's been okay.
I think there's a lot of names ahead of McTominay.
Yeah, he came. But in terms of shout outs, Greenwood. I pick him up for in terms of not having as much games.
Before
but scoring
McTominay
goals.
got injured though, he wasn't playing well, bro. Like, remember we were at that Chelsea game and he was having a mare, and then he got injured.
But him and Fred, I would say they struck a partnership.
The partnership
because at the time, no one could sit here and you lot at home can't act like as soon as McTominay got injured, we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? Now we've got to play Matic.
Yeah,
everyone was saying that was more because that was going on.
But that was more because Matic was that bad before as well.
You already said it yourself. I mean, look, I didn't even. Where does McTominay get into this team? He doesn't.
Yeah, at the moment, no.
And he shouldn't.
And he's not even the next because it's Pogba. So he's got to.
Yeah, but what I like what McTominay's done though is that he showed us what he's good at.
This season he showed.
Because last year. Because I hold my hands up. I kept saying I'm not really sure what this kid does. Don't get me wrong. He was played alongside at the time. It was alongside Herrera and Matic and that under Jose, and it was like
it was so and Fellaini, bro.
And Fellaini, and it was like.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Which is fine.
I didn't know what he was. I thought he might end up at Preston North End. I meant it. I was like, but then I always said, well, Carrick bigs him up. Mourinho bigged him up.
There's got to be something.
There's got to be something.
But like, what I like this year from pre-season. We were there. I was there every single game while he was putting him in. You could see what it was going to be for the start of the season, and it was that. And
well stocked now.
And he showed us, and that's one positive that has come out of the season is that actually we're having this conversation to say, Pogba don't get in yet. You know, that's a conversation.
So all this talk about Grealish and Maddison, where do they fit? They don't fit in this midfield.
That's only if Pogba goes, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think he is.
These guys don't fit.
Because even now, if you've got a Jack Grealish, let's for argument's sake,
and
who comes out
and the position he plays is too similar to Bruno's. Maybe like you don't need a Jack Grealish. If anything, you do need like an Ndidi. If you sell someone, you have to bring in a defensive midfielder. It doesn't make sense.
Which is the only reservation I've got.
So I don't think Grealish fits in without Pogba leaving. So.
No, exactly. You just don't see where. But then again, competition for places having a real good squad. Talk about 2 wicked players in each position, like to get into City levels and stuff like that. You get Grealish then and say, you might not be starting every week, mate, but you're going to come by United when Bruno's not fit or whatever you're in, or when we want to mix it up. That's the type of depth. You talk about getting back to the top. That's what we need. Really.
Absolutely, but I'm just a firm believer in let's strengthen your starting 11 first.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not on strengthening a bench. Do you know what I mean? So.
But in midfield, it's not really going to get strengthened much if Pogba stays. That's what we're saying, unless you get like an Ndidi.
But there you go. But that's what I'm saying.
So maybe all we need is that then.
You have to strengthen. You have to strengthen for me. Your starting 11 first, innit? We have to look at where we've got holes there. There's no point buying players for the bench.
Really,
you've got plenty of those.
It's only you're looking at right wing because I know the Sancho thing always. So if you get a proper right wing, even if it's not, say it was Gnabry or someone, I'm just throwing names out there. a proper certified right winger. Then you're saying maybe someone like an Ndidi to hold.
Yeah, and a centre back.
And a centre back.
But I said to you,
if you get that,
Flex, did I not say 3 players?
Yeah.
That's it. We're not that far away on paper if everyone's fit.
And we got a manager already.
No, hey, listen. We need another show for that.
What do you mean?
No.
Well, we'll bring it back for another show to talk about the signings. I think that's interesting. But thanks for coming on, lads.
Yeah, man. Look at
The
this
new setup.
This is, you can get used to this, and there'll be a lot more to come, man.
Very
Exciting
exciting.
times.
Very
Exciting times.
Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video, and we'll be back with another one soon.